I want to talk about how I actually create content with a full-time job, kids, and real life happening constantly in the background.
It's too much. It's too much.
Not the Instagram version of busy, not the wake up at 4 a.m. and grind version, the normal version. Because whenever someone says, I don't have time to create, what they usually mean is my life isn't set up the way the internet says it should be. And honestly, same.
Me too.
I don't have long, uninterrupted blocks of time. I don't have a perfect studio. I don't usually have quiet. What I do have is pockets of time, windows here and there, moments where things aren't on fire. So that's what I work with. First thing I had to accept is that content doesn't get created when life slows down. Life just doesn't slow down. Ever. That sounds nice. If you're waiting for that season where work is easier, the kids are calmer, and your schedule magically opens up, you're going to be waiting a long time. So instead of asking, when will I have time for this? I started asking, where can I fit it? The mindset shift mattered more than anything camera-wise or software-wise or research-wise. Mindset. Most of my content gets created early in the morning or late at night. Not because I'm disciplined or super motivated, but because that's when nobody needs anything from me. That's when the world, I guess, is quiet enough for me to think. Sometimes that means I'm tired, and that's fine. I'm a millennial. We're always tired.
You're one of those millennials.
I'd rather be tired and creating than rested and feeling stuck. Another big thing I had to let go of was the idea that every video needs to be perfect, because perfection is expensive. It costs a lot of time, energy, momentum. And when you're balancing work and family and responsibilities, perfection is usually the first thing that kills consistency. I don't aim to be perfect. I aim to be done. I aim to accomplish something. That doesn't mean I'm careless. It just means realistic. I go for clear audio, a clear thought, honest delivery. Everything else is negotiable. Lighting can be good enough. The background can be imperfect. Editing can be simple. Nobody stops watching because your lamp is slightly off frame. They stop watching because you never posted in the first place. I also stopped trying to separate content life from real life because that just sounds exhausting. Instead, I try to just let real life be the content. If I'm thinking through something about creativity, work, or balance, that's a video. If I'm learning something the hard way, that's a video. If I'm frustrated, tired, or figuring out in real time, that's usually the best video. You don't need to invent ideas. You're already living them. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we need more time. Most of the time, we don't. We need fewer expectations. You don't need to film for 2 hours straight. You don't need to edit like a filmmaker. You don't need to upload constantly. You need something sustainable, because sustainability beats intensity every single time. Another thing that helps is batching. Not in a hardcore spreadsheet obsessed way, but in a realistic way. If I'm already set up to record, I try to get more than one thing done. If I'm already thinking creatively, I capture that momentum. Some days I don't create at all. Other days I get ahead. That balance matters. I mean, that's the only way it's possible. I also don't wait to feel creative. That feeling is unreliable. Creativity shows up after you start, not before, at least for me. So I start awkwardly.
That was awkward.
I hit record even when I don't feel ready. Most of the time, the best parts of a video happen after the first few minutes anyways. Now, the bigger problem, let's talk about kids. Because this is where most advice completely falls apart with the majority of YouTube content creation advice videos that you see out there. Kids don't care about your content schedule. They don't care about your lighting. They definitely don't care that you just hit record. And that's fine. You don't need to hide that. Sometimes the interruptions stay in, sometimes they don't. But I stopped treating interruptions like failures and started treating them like part of the environment. Life is happening, and that's kind of the entire point of this. I think a lot of people assume creators with families have some secret system. We don't. We just decide what matters. Sometimes content matters enough to give it some time. Not all the time. That's a huge difference. I also want to be honest about motivation. I don't wake up excited to create every single day. I already do it professionally. Some days I'd rather not, but momentum is easier to maintain than motivation. Once something is part of your routine, even loosely, it stops feeling optional and it just becomes normal. So I don't want this to grow for any kind of crazy big reason. I want this to eventually become income, like most people that start a channel. But I'm not building it like a lottery ticket. I'm building it like something I actually want to live with. As I said, I do content professionally. I have for several years and never for myself. So this just felt like a cathartic process to get thoughts out, maybe make something that could help somebody else, and good practice for what I do every day anyways. This isn't polished. It's not some marketing piece. It's just fun. I enjoy it. So I'm not building it like a lottery ticket. As I said, I'm building it like something that I actually want to live with. That's going to mean probably slow growth, hopefully real connection, content that I don't hate making, enjoying, being a part of a new community. That's all things that especially millennials pushing 40 with kids, you can feel easily locked off from the rest of the world because you're in your little world. So I saw this as an opportunity to maybe either reach people that could use the messages that I might be able to provide or that have good advice for me. I mean, I learned more on YouTube than I ever learned in college. So if you're watching this thinking, I could do this, but my life's way too messy, that's actually a good sign. Messy life usually means a meaningful life. And a meaningful life makes better content than perfection ever will. Trust me, I have 5 kids. We own multiple businesses. I'm a full-time marketing director. I know what busy means. But this is fun. This is a cool outlet. And as a camera guy, videographer, photographer, it's just fun to practice and learn new things. I've never done anything like this. I've never done any kind of theater. I've never performed. I've never been on camera. So taking on something new at this stage of my life was just fun. So if you're working full time, raising kids, handling all your responsibilities, and you still feel that pull to create, you don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. I don't have one. You just need to start where you are with what you've got. Let it evolve however it's going to. That's how I create content with a full-time job, kids, and a real life. Not perfect, not consistently all the time, but try to remain honest. Honesty is enough to keep it going. If this helped you feel maybe a little less behind, stick around, subscribe if you'd like. We'll keep figuring out this together. This is Forward Focus. I'll see y'all in the next one.